we've been looking at the BoG's account as well. I don't know if you've been able to pay attention to what is happening with the BoG. This morning, for example, the news center reports that BoG posts 9.79 billion Ghana cedi loss. Gold for oil as well. We are getting the sense that BoG made some losses due to forex and exchange rate related matters. How did you manage the BoG, your government, and why are we getting all these things? Because if you remember, there was the issue to do with the banking sector cleanup where we spent some 21 billion Ghana cedis. Now BoG is posting losses. We're also losing on gold for oil. What happened?
Yeah, could you? You're asking me what happened. We all know. We all live in this under this globe, and we saw what happened right from the onset of COVID.
Yeah,
it is not just the Central Bank of Ghana that went through crisis. You check the Bank of England. You check a lot of European banks. They also went through a lot of crisis. And then in 2022, when we began the painful but necessary process to bring our debt to a sustainable level, we embarked on the domestic debt exchange. And if you would recall, government mentioned that for all of us who had monies with the banks, with government through bonds, we were not going to get, or we were not going to receive any haircuts on the principal.
Yeah, I remember. We said no haircuts.
So our principals were intact. But BoG took a hit on the principal, close to about 60%. BoG had to take that haircut, that loss, that hit on behalf of all of us. And so this is clearly an improvement. Yes, there was a loss of 9 billion. But we are also forgetting that there was a growth in equity of about 4 billion Ghana cedis. And the loss is not just to do with the gold for oil. There were several other things. The open market operations of BoG alone resulted in about 8 billion in losses. But this was what they had to do to stabilize the market and also to check inflation. So it comes at a cost. If the losses were due to general operations of BoG, when I say general, like something personal to them, that is when we should be alarmed.
Yeah.
But the losses, one had to do with the open market operation. That's the chunk of it. That's about 8 billion. And that alone was to stabilize the economy and also to improve on inflation.
So the economy was struggling due to all the various things happening. So BoG had to bail out the economy.
BoG had to support.
In simple terms.
And
so
in
that's
supporting,
they
took a hit. First with the haircut on the bonds. And then second, BoG had to help bring down inflation. And in bringing down inflation, they had to embark on certain open market operations that also resulted in losses. And in addition to that, the gold for oil, usually because we deal in forex and it's not our own currency, anytime there's a shift, you either experience exchange rate losses or exchange rate gains. There are times that BoG has witnessed some exchange rate gains, and there are times that they witness exchange rate losses. But the most important thing is that there's been a growth of about 4 billion in their equity. It tells you that they're on the path of recovery. After all that happened right from 2022, they're on a path of recovery. It will take time, but the signs are there. And so let's sustain what they have done and make sure we build on that. To see a turnaround BoG.
Is it fair to say that the BoG's current situation was because of the way your government managed the economy? The unsustainable debts, all the related issues had forced the BoG to step in and make an intervention. So the BoG's current crisis can be directly pinned on your economic management.
I don't think so, because a BoG, remember when we had to work on the asset quality of banks, BoG was the regulator.
Yeah.
Government had to look for 21 billion to give to BoG to address that. So it's a give and take. We work together to make sure we achieve a common good, and that common good is sustain the economy and promote growth. So it's not about Ministry of Finance or BoG. What have we done as a country when we what did we do as a country when we faced the crisis? We worked together. Some took some, and in doing that, some agencies took some losses or took some hits. But it was in the interest, the larger interest of the nation to sustain the economy and also to promote growth. Now we are seeing, the fruits of what we did. 2024, we all saw the growth numbers. While in several countries and even in the West, growth numbers went down, ours went beyond the targeted 5.7%. So it is working together to achieve a common good, and that common good is bearing the fruits that we want it to bear. And so I think that is how we should see it.